The thought of downsizing makes sense to many people. And for those people, there are great benefits, but it's not for everyone.
So many people have left comments on our channel about the fact that they don't want to downsize. So we decided to do a little research on that and put together why it might not work for you so you can actually feel good about that decision and give it a different look instead of thinking you have to do it. Maybe you don't have to do it.
I mean, staying put in your current home may be the smartest thing you ever did.
Right, so we've got this couple that we know really well. They're our age. They're second generation owners of a home. Her dad, who just passed away, lived with them until he died at the age of 93, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and while at times that was difficult having him in there, it really was a good end-of-life situation for him, and they enjoyed their last years together.
Oh, absolutely. And now it's just the two of them. You know, all three of their kids have moved out. And they actually have a second income apartment, right?
Yeah, which is
with
really
its own
helpful.
separate entrance, you know, and that pays a lot of the house costs.
I think it pays all the house costs because their mortgage is so low now because they've been
there for so long, right? And they have this younger couple now that checks in on them, right? So
and there's still plenty of room for
Yep.
the kids to visit, and they host events. So it really made sense for them not even to think about the idea of downsizing, right?
Yeah, and you know, you and I talked a little bit about it. You know, the sign of the times is that, you know, a lot of our kids aren't even buying homes.
They're not. They're
so
renting.
when they want to come back somewhere for a holiday, it's our home. So let's talk a little bit about some real concrete reasons why downsizing may not make sense, right? The first is financial reasons. Maybe the numbers just don't make sense.
And this is what we get a lot on our comments,
Right.
is that they can't afford to move out into something even smaller,
Right.
because they have no mortgage, right?
And or you can just afford to stay put.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a no-brainer. You know, in a lot of instances, the real estate market dictates whether or not you can afford to sell your house at a high, but then where do you go?
Well, the thing is, the real estate market right now in 2023, it's hot. I mean, everything is up. So if you can sell your house at the highest it's ever been, when you go to buy something, it's at the highest it's ever been. So it doesn't really matter.
So that's one of the aspects of financial. The other aspects of the financial is maybe the monthly cost for your current home works for you.
Yeah.
I know that works for like my pop, right? For example, we wanted him to move after my mom passed away because he's in a big townhouse.
He has a 3-bedroom townhouse for one person.
He has a 3-bedroom, 3-story townhouse with a full finished basement, but there's nowhere he can go.
A 2-bedroom
cheaper.
townhouse is more money.
And the monthly costs and, you know,
yeah.
and all of that. So monthly cost is really a good thing to kind of plug in to see where
and
you are.
the other financial piece is a mortgage. If you've paid off your mortgage, you just have a little bit left, why would you want to take on some debt? So these are all good reasons not to want to sell your house and move, and you should always check with a financial planner or a banker,
Right.
just to get a little more clarity on the finance piece of downsizing or not.
So the first reason you may not want to downsize is financially it might not make sense. That'll sum that up. Secondly, you know, you may just live in a community where you have family nearby that are going to visit.
Yeah, and a lot of people have that.
Right.
Their kids are there, their grandkids are there. This
Not
is the
us.
house.
Our kids
No.
live in 6
Right.
different states all over the U.S.
Right, but for people that have the children who have grown up, they have jobs, and they live in the same town, they're having their own families, and they want to come to Grandma and Grandpa's house for Thanksgiving or whatever the holiday might be, or birthdays, or sleepovers, then, you know, it's hard to get up and leave from that.
Yeah, and that's if the kids are there. You know, we're still in a generation where maybe our elderly parents still live nearby, either at their home or in a facility, you know, of some kind. So, you know, we are that generation that, you know, is still kind of figuring out what to do with our kids and grandkids and then still maybe have elderly parents. So, you know, it's not the case for us because our kids do live all over the U.S. in 6 different states.
Right.
And our grandkids live all the way in California. Although that idea of living in the same town with everybody
That would be awesome. I mean, if that
really
was the case,
sweet.
If that was the case, I think we would rethink where we live right now.
Yeah.
So I'm not fortunate that they don't live near us, but it's not a reason for us to stay in the same town we grew up in. So.
You know, interestingly enough, I found an article in AARP that did a survey, and 3/4 of the people over 50 wanted to stay in their house as long as possible.
That's a big chunk of people.
It was a big chunk of their survey that
my
they
parents
did.
stayed. Your mom stayed in their house.
She did.
My parents never left.
And the survey went on to say 69% of the people said they have a relative living within close proximity to their home, which helped make their decision.
Right.
So, there are reasons with family and proximity that may make sense not to downsize and move.
Right. So we talked about financial reasons not to downsize. We talked about having the family or kids live nearby, or sisters or brothers, whoever it might be. The other thing is where you live right now might be the greatest community ever, and the lifestyle's great for you. So why get up and leave? It doesn't make any sense.
That's right.
You might have the best, if you have neighbors who are still there and they've been there for 30 or 40 years, these are really good friends, and it's critical to have these kind of people in your life.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the value of the friends that may live nearby, or you may be able to walk to town and love your village and your shopkeepers and your restaurants and your local markets. Sometimes your community provides you an opportunity to be an active volunteer.
The other thing is, as you retire, you find new things in your community that you can do that you didn't do before, because now you have this 40 plus hours of free time that came your way. You could volunteer.
Right.
You could join a gym. Maybe your town has bicycle paths and you want to take up walking or cycling and just live healthier. So you get to investigate what your community has that maybe you didn't know before.
Right.
We joined a YMCA down here. I've never belonged to a YMCA before ever in my life, and I'm like, why didn't I?
I know.
Because they're everywhere. But it really has become a good social hub for us, and also a lifestyle thing.
Yeah, and a lot of studies show that towns that have a YM or a YWCA really promote community. And we did find that.
And
down
if you
here.
live in a home or a condo or whatever it is, and you can walk to town versus drive, that is a huge plus.
Yeah.
Because once you leave that and move out, where you have to get in the car to go somewhere, you're going to find you walk less.
My hometown, I grew up in a college town, in a big college town. And there was something about that as my parents aged that kept them alive and with a buzz and, living in that college town feel with all of those kids and all of those restaurants and all that comes with it. I think if you're in a college town, that might actually be a reason not to downsize.
I agree, because there's just an energy about it that's really, really important.
Yep.
Now, another reason why you might not want to downsize or move is because you want to age in place. And if that's what you want to do, then you should try to figure out a way to do it, right?
Yeah,
it's a big decision.
It's a big decision, a family decision, a financial decision. It's whether or not you have the room to age appropriately in your house. I know our house in Connecticut, it is a vertical house.
4 stories.
It would not be a great place to age,
No, because it's an old house. The stairs are really steep. They're
steep, narrow.
Yeah.
Not real deep steps.
But if you can age in place in your home, because that's a new thing, and there's a lot of research. We should actually do a video on that.
Oh,
aging in place, because there's a lot of new resources available.
There is.
But the other reason not to downsize is maybe there just aren't any good choices where you live.
Yeah.
You can't actually go smaller. Your current home's the perfect size.
Yeah. Sometimes it's harder to live with one less bedroom than it is just to have one extra bedroom, right?
That's true.
So, sometimes if you own a home and you want to go into an apartment living just isn't for everybody.
No.
And so maybe your current home has a small yard and you can still garden and you still get some energy out of that. So that's another reason. I think the 6th reason is really important, and that's just maybe you're just not emotionally ready. You're not ready to downsize, and that's a very personal decision.
It is, and if you have a partner, you have to figure this out together. Again, there's other videos we have on our channel about downsizing and the dilemma and how to work it out. But maybe, just take a pause. Say, you know what? We're not going to downsize. We're going to stay here. Maybe we'll right size.
Well, you were ready to downsize way before I was ready to downsize. And it caused friction for, I would say, a couple of years.
Yeah.
Every time you brought it up, I wasn't interested, and it took some time.
So if you're not ready, that's okay.
Right.
There's a long life ahead of you. we talk a lot about, because we think we're in a good spot right now, but what does 10 years from now look like? Where will we live? Our kids are all somewhere else. We would like to live at least near one set of kids that might help take care of us.
I don't know. I think it's hard because how do you choose one set of kids to go live near?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you do that.
I don't know. But anyway.
If you don't feel the need to downsize, that should be okay. Have comfort in that decision, and you can always do it at a later date.
And lamenting over it time and time again, it's going to wear you out. And you're going to wear out your partner and your kids. So if you can't decide right now, just be okay.
Or do what we did. Just agree to talk about it annually.
Yeah.
You know, be curious about your future. Don't have a closed mindset as to where you think you need to be, but be clear where you stand right now.
And if you like this and you're dedicated to staying where you are right now, watch this next video because it's called Instead of Downsizing, Try This. Just putting in some basic upgrades into your home, decorating ideas to stay put, and just spruce up your home. And we give you 10 inexpensive changes you can make to your home. So watch this next.